Hi everyone, it's Asians Do Football, back again with our first ever video.
How you feeling, G?
A bit nervous, not gonna lie.
Yeah, it is our first video, so please allow us if we make any mistakes. And please leave some comments down below where we can improve, where we've slipped up. We're open to that. But Julian, what's our first video going to be about?
Our first video is a new series actually. We're gonna call The Review. So we're gonna talk about all the teams from last year, what went well for them, and what they can do to improve. So Sameer, starting from the top, Liverpool, what do you think?
Well, I think we can cut the video here because we can just say they won the title, they did everything good. But we'll go into a bit more specifics. So the way I watch football, I watch how the teams play and stuff. So I'm going to talk about what I think went well for Liverpool and what was different from last season, where they got so close. So the big one, and I think it's obvious for everyone, it's the fullbacks.
Yep.
They produced so much. Trent and Robertson. Just looking at the stats for last season, Trent did 13 assists and Robertson did 12 assists.
It's a record, right?
Yeah, and those two were behind De Bruyne, who's the top, obviously. So it's amazing how much production those two give, and those are the ones that people have scored as well. So they create loads of chances.
It's crazy.
It's really key to their attacking and the way they build their attacks. And you've got Trent on the free kicks and the set pieces as well.
I've been saying this since in our group chats. I've been saying it for days. He's gonna be England captain. Liverpool England captain.
How old is he? Like 20, 21?
I think he's 21 now, 22. Yeah.
He seems like a seasoned veteran the way he's just pulling up with free kicks and corners. I think one of the biggest highlights for me to see his maturity was, it's not about this season, but it's last season when they won the Champions League. You know that Barcelona corner at Anfield when he took it quickly?
Yeah.
It's like, which kid or what person is thinking in that pace?
He's so switched on, isn't he?
He's so switched on. But yeah, it's obvious. That's a bit an obvious one. The fullback's amazing, and I'm sure they'll continue that next season as ever.
Very jealous as an Arsenal fan.
One of the biggest things for me is Firmino and Henderson, their partnership. So it's quite an interesting partnership. So traditionally, a DM in the Premier League brings the ball out. He's the option for the centre backs. Firmino's not really that, in my opinion. He's a bit more of a destructor compared to maybe Fernandinho for Man City or a Xhaka for Arsenal, who would pick up the ball and look for a pass. I think Henderson does that in that role.
Yep.
So what actually happens is that right side is really fluid for Liverpool. So you've got Salah, who cuts in naturally because he's left-footed. Obviously he can go on his right, but naturally he goes onto his left and he cuts in a lot. Leaves a big wing space there, and Trent fills that space, going up and down, putting crosses in,
100%.
putting some passes into the midfield. The key to that though also is when Henderson moves into that quadrant between the defence and the midfield. So basically he fills that space that Trent's going to leave because he wants Trent to go up and down, and he fills that up so Trent doesn't need to worry about necessarily running back too quickly. And Henderson can just keep the ball up and keep passing the ball to Trent so he can deliver some balls into the box. And that's where Firmino comes in, because Firmino has to cover Henderson and himself as well. And that's how the way I think that left side, the right hand side, sorry, I should say, works. It's very, very fluid, and it's a joy to watch. And if you watch carefully next season, you'll see it more and more again. That's how they move, and you always see Henderson in the right wing back position, really. And his influence is immense. I know he gets a lot of hate. He's not the most stylish, maybe not the best technical player, but without him, you can see how much less productive they are.
I mean, the stats say it for itself, right? Exactly. Without him, the win percentage goes down.
Points percentage.
Exactly, and it's a credit to the manager, right? He's how long has he been there now? 5, 6 years?
Yeah. First
couple of years, building a squad. VVD and Alisson were major signings. Transformed the whole,
I've actually never seen
Yeah.
In recent time, I've never seen a player like Van Dijk change a whole team that much.
Exactly, it's
crazy. It's crazy.
It's mad.
It's crazy.
And not only credit to Klopp, but the players have comes leaps and bounds. Henderson, when he first signed, everyone's 20 million for this kid. Like, what's happening? And he got stick for it, But
he wasn't great initially. He wasn't.
No, he wasn't.
I've got a good disclaimer. I did like Henderson for a long time early on, so it's not something I like. He was one of my favorite. I could see what he could become. I guess that's where I got my enjoyment for. But I totally acknowledge that initially, Liverpool were a mess in general at that time anyway, and it's not good for a kid to come into that environment, and it's not good to put a kid in a failing team, if that makes sense.
But credit to him now. He's captain now. You could tell from just even the Lallana's video when he was leaving to Brighton, how highly he spoke of Henderson, just not only on the pitch but off it as well. So he's been a great influence.
I think he's a captain, and what I mean by that, he's not captain by name, he's a captain by nature as well.
Yep.
I think they all respect him. I think he leads by example, all that great stuff. He might as well retire. He's won Champions League.
He might as well, innit?
Won the Premier League.
He might as well.
England never going to win the World Cup anyway. He might as well call it a day.
Go on.
I'm going to touch on one more player that's unsung hero, and I think he's an unsung hero for a lot. He's been clowned on social media.
Shaqiri.
But no, it's Firmino. One of my favourite players in the world. I would say top 10 favourite player for me.
Oh, that's a big statement.
It's a big statement.
Big statement. There.
The effect he has on the team and makes that team click. I know I mentioned the right side a lot earlier in the video, but that centre spot, the way he tracks back, I know his numbers need to improve. I agree with that. I think he needs to get more goals, maybe more assists as well on that. But because he has other players doing that in the team, it just works. Like if you put someone else in that position, if we put an Aubameyang as an example, he's not going to be able to do that role that Firmino does, and that changed the whole Liverpool system, if that makes sense. Like Liverpool haven't got the most flashy players all the time. They've got their flashy players, obviously, like Mane and Salah, but they need those players for functions, and those players do those functions well. So it's going to be interesting when they do signings and how they fit into that function. And it's a good segue because, Julian, what do they need for next season?
What do they need? So there's been rumours of Jamal Lewis, you know, with Larouci, I think is how you pronounce it. He's gone, right? The young left back.
Yeah, I think they offered him up and Norwich said no. I don't know much about the youngster, but is he gone now, you're saying?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure, but regardless, they needed a left back to you know, back up for Robertson. Milner does an excellent job there. He's so good.
What player, by the way, Milner? I know we're going
you talk about unsung heroes.
Milner.
Man like Milner, he's the one.
Just put him up front, legit, and I think he'll do his job.
Hey, I'm telling you, he can do a job anywhere. But yeah, he's as amazing as he is. He's not a left back, right?
Yeah, they need someone a bit natural.
And they've been linked with Jamal Lewis, which they've had a 10 million bid rejected.
Julian, by the way,
is
it me? It was 10 million, and even
that's a joke.
Like 20 million is the quoted price that is acceptable for Norwich, and even I think that's very low. But maybe because I've been tarnished by this market, we've got these 80 million players, we've got 70 million players, and maybe I'm thinking, how is this player 20 million? And maybe I'm doing it injustice, and maybe he's a 20 million player, but it just seems very cheap to me.
I
think more clubs should be interested.
Me too. Me personally as well. He was maybe like one of the shining lights in that Norwich season, a very bad season for them. But he showed, you know, in his first season in the Premier League, he's direct, he's quick enough for the Premier League. I think he'd be a great asset for the Liverpool squad. And if they can get him for less than £20 million,
it's a steal.
It is a steal.
And listen, we know Robertson's a robot, but eventually he's going to get injured, and they'll need someone a bit more natural, because, like we mentioned before, how many assists Robertson and Trent have got. They'll lose a lot if one of them is out. And Milner does a job; he defends it well, but he's not going to be able to offer the attacking potential that Lewis.
The thing with that as well, when Milner comes in, he's not, because he doesn't bomb forward like Robertson. They lose something on the left hand side.
Exactly.
Whereas Jamal Lewis, he's obviously not going to be as good as Robertson, but
he offers the outlet. Yeah.
But saying that, he came from Hull City for £8 million, and no one expected him to be a Champions League and Premier League winner.
And I think things people lose about this kind of stuff is people will say, like, they got this youngster or they got James Milner, why can't they just do the job? They can do the job, but I think what people miss out is if they don't have that Lewis or that player that's left-footed and can do what Robertson does, there's a lot of pressure on the Trents and the Hendersons and the Firminos as well, because they lose a lot in their armoury and their arsenal by losing that left-handed side player on the left-back position.
Because I don't know, like, I'm not gonna lie, I haven't watched Liverpool like a crazy amount, especially when Robertson hasn't been playing. So that might be another thing that oppositions might look at. You know, they're probably gonna attack more on the right hand side, using Trent more, because they don't have that attacking threat as much when Milner plays. But with Jamal Lewis, you know, like I said, he's shown, you know, last season that in a very poor Norwich season he can do a job, and he can only improve under Klopp.
I think at that price tag, more teams should be interested. But in the end, I think Liverpool will get their man. Do you agree?
100%.
Yeah, they'll get him, and I think
I'll be very surprised.
It's another great addition. Their recent additions to their squad have been so much value for money. Even Van Dijk at 80 million is good value for money.
75.
Okay, there you go.
80 million with Maguire.
Let's not talk about Maguire.
Next video though, we'll talk about Man United and Chelsea.
We can talk about Maguire a bit more. I'm going to talk about a bit more what they need. And then Julian, jump in.
Go for it, man.
So another centre back.
Yeah.
They've lost the world's best defender in Lovren to Zenit.
About Lovren,
gone.
He's played one game for Zenit. He's already got a trophy.
See, look, when a person talks and says they're the best player in the world, you got to listen sometimes. Well, he didn't say best player in the world; he's the best defender in the world.
He says he was like he took Liverpool and Croatia to the Champions League and World Cup final.
Yeah.
He's a gas box, by the way. But
he's one of the times,
backing it up, isn't he?
He's got a medal. He's got a medal.
But yeah, they, now that he's gone, they definitely need another centre back. Who did they have?
Matip and Gomez and Van Dijk at the moment. And
just three, right?
I'm sure they've got a youngster
a few
somewhere
youngsters.
as well.
But yeah, they need a solid centre back.
Gomez and Van Dijk personally is really good, and Matip when he fills in is really good as well. But I do think they need another one. The problem they will have is that other one won't start. So if they want someone of quality, they're not going to start. And is that player happy to sit on the bench is the question. How much are they going to start? Van Dijk's not going to get dropped, for example. Played every Premier League game, every minute, every second, scored in the last game of the season. He's not going to get dropped, so it'll be the Gomez spot. And Gomez has been amazing. And for England...
I love Gomez, man.
And England, let's be a bit selfish here. We want him to play.
100%.
So we don't want him to be dropped.
100%.
Liverpool have been linked with a Schalke defender. He's called Kabak. Apologies for those who know the pronunciation correctly.
Turkish guy.
Yeah, he's Turkish. He's very tall. He's got pace on him as well. He can pass as well. He's not the most comfortable on the ball, but that will come with progression. My only issue with it, I think it's a great signing. They're quoted quite a lot. I think it was like 40 million. But those are only rumours, so I won't put any concrete. I don't know a price tag on it.
Yeah.
The thing is, are Liverpool is willing to spend the 30-40 million on a backup player? And is Kabak ready to sit on the bench? I don't think. If I'm Kabak, it's great. You're showing the champions stuff like that. But for your own development, you need to play, and he won't. I don't think he'll get the game.
How old is he? Do you know?
I do not know off the top of my head, but he's in the 20 to 23 region. I would have thought.
Okay.
Very young, so he's got.
Yeah.
He might be able to sit on the bench for a little while, but I think he needs to play games, and I just don't think they're going to move Gomez and Van Dijk. So they need to look at a position. They haven't really been linked with anyone. They might just go without, to be honest.
Do you think they? I mean, their youngsters aren't bad. Their youngsters aren't like.
And how much do they need to play? League Cup maybe and FA Cup here.
Yeah.
There. It's true. But yeah, that's one position they could look at. Another one that's been heavily linked actually before the season even finished. Thiago, centre mid.
Baller.
Yeah, what a player, innit?
Baller.
So I think Liverpool need a centre mid that carries the ball and goes forward. I think they've got Ronaldo that does a really good job there. Keita, who will get better. But I do think they need that world-class Thiago. And what Thiago that world-class midfielder, I should say, but what Thiago offers, if it is to be him, is the dribbling, the transition play is immense. He can find a final ball. I think the only thing he's lacking, he doesn't really score goals, but you've got Salah, Mane, and hopefully Firmino. The thing that could help the situation as well is, it might stop Firmino dropping back as much because Thiago will be able to do that transition play a bit more and push from the front a bit more. So you might see Firmino score more goals. So you might get goals from elsewhere, if that makes sense.
You'd like to think so, right?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, the only thing with that is, as we've spoken to our Liverpool friends, they've said like it's not a player they usually buy. The age, the price has been quoted.
Yeah, he's 29, going on 30 now. I think he's. I'm not sure if he's 30 this year or next year, but he's on the older side of his career. So, but he's quality. He's quality, man.
Great signing, and I don't think he needs to play every game. He can just do his thing in those games. He can unlock the door when they're struggling a bit. No, Liverpool don't struggle with these days.
He'd be a starter, though, right? Thiago's he's not moving unless
it's hard because I think Thiago is so different to what they have already. He will change the way they attack again. And as we've seen with Klopp before, with Fabinho and Keita more recently, he wants them to join their style. He doesn't want to add another style. Like Fabinho, when he initially came, didn't play. Really, he didn't start many games. Now he's a star, obviously, but that's because he got used to how Liverpool play on the training ground first. But because Thiago's a bit older, I think Thiago's want to play. And also, I also think in this relationship, I think Thiago wants to be in Liverpool more than Liverpool want Thiago. I think Liverpool want Thiago, but not as much as...
He wants to join the Premier League champions, right?
I think Thiago just wants a new step. It'll be a great signing if they do it. It's another option. It's going to cost a lot of money.
That's another thing as well. Are they willing to spend that kind of money on a player, like you said, is not guaranteed to start, and for his age as well? So
that's another brilliant segue, Julian, because I'm going to move on to the last position I think they need. Now, they don't need this, but I think it could take their team to the next level. I know they're high level already. Striker.
Shout.
And talking about money, not having money, that's the reason we most recently heard is why they didn't get Werner, actually. So everything looks set, but apparently Klopp was happy with it, all that kind of stuff. But from what I've read, and I don't know if you read differently, but when Klopp said, I want Werner, and they had Skype chats and all this kind of stuff, or Zoom chats during COVID and lockdown, the board said that we can't afford it, which was very surprising. I don't know Liverpool's financial situation and why they can't afford it. I would like to think they could have.
I think they could have.
It's a very strange situation. Klopp hasn't got his man. The reason I say the striker is the same reason I given before. This will allow Firmino to drop back again and maybe play in a cam role rather, and then you have this star striker. Then you have Salah, Mane, and a world-class striker up there that can get more goals, and Firmino just drops deep. Now, it's a bit gun-ho, but the defence is so good, maybe it can work. Firmino will carry on getting less goals, but it'll be a function. and the issue, like I
Yeah.
alluded to earlier, like it'll be Firmino and Henderson, I would have thought, and then just leaves them two in the midfield. So it might mess up the thing. So it's not, they don't need it, but I think there's a potential to take it to the next level.
That's the thing. Like, no matter who they buy, there's going to be some tweak of system, right? Because if they did buy Werner, they'd probably have to sacrifice one of the midfielders. Who gets dropped? When Wijnaldum is amazing. Henderson's captain. He's not ever going to get dropped. And Firmino has had a fantastic season as well. So
I don't know who that striker is as well, because obviously we're talking Chelsea on another video, but Werner's a great signing, I think we can both agree on that.
Amazing.
And it would have been great for Liverpool to get him.
I mean, Origi does a job, but he's he's 25, 26 now. Does he want to keep staying on that bench, or does he want to be a starter?
I'm trying to think of the market now, who's available. I know we're both Arsenal fans. I don't know if we mentioned that. Julian's right in the top.
Oh, it's obvious.
But Aubameyang's a shout. If I was Liverpool, obviously I'm an Arsenal fan, so I don't want him to go. And it seems like we're talking Arsenal a bit more, but it seems like he's supposed to sign in contract, so that might not be. But
hopefully,
he's the type of player that I think they need. I don't know. It's a strange situation.
They don't need goals though.
Yeah.
How many goals did they score this season?
I don't know, but loads of goals.
Loads, right? Yeah. So they get goals from everywhere.
Yeah, it's true.
So that's not an issue.
Yeah.
And for me, you can't.
Maybe the strikers are nice to have.
It is.
Because I say next level, it takes them to next level. What other level is there next for Liverpool? Like,
we'll win the quadruple, yeah. It's a bit selfish, Liverpool.
On that note, Julian, I think Liverpool have had enough airtime. I think we should call it there.
Too much, man. All these promo videos and stuff, man. Bloody hell.
They're gonna be in everything next season. And a lot of people are gonna still be talking about them. But they have won the title, so congratulations to them. But it's time
well deserved.
Yeah, exactly, agreed. And it's time to talk about some other teams. And our next video, we're going to talk about Man City and what the runners-up of last season, need to do to close that gap with Liverpool this time. And it's a big gap, wasn't it?
A very big gap.
But for what we've said today, if you have any rebuttals or you have a different opinion to what we said, or you think differently, like Julian said, put in the comments. Me and Julian ready for the argument or the discussion.
I'm ready, man. Let's go.
But yeah, that's it from us, Julian. Anything else to say?
As we're a new channel, we'd love some support. If you like the video, just give us a like. As Sameer said, any opinions, any suggestions or feedback would be welcome. Subscribe, click the little bell thing. We're all new to this, isn't it? So,
so we'll see you soon.
See you soon. Ciao.